What up, Dokkaners? So now that there's been a little bit of time since the video presentation has released for the Part 2 LRs, I wanted to do a full breakdown, summary, recap video going over everything that we have learned during that video and since then. Because since then, we also learned what the banner unit is going to be, which is Videl. We also have been given a few announcements in-game, and I just wanted to give my overall thoughts on things. There were a few details during the presentation that kind of irked me, and so since then, I've sort of come around on them, so I want to know what you guys think about those as well. Let's just start with the basics. Number one, we got some events coming up. We got Blue Zones, new stages. We got Bojack action going on here with the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So obviously they're going to be moving through the movie, the various movies in the series. Also, we've got memorable battles coming up with the Gohan and the Broly. I will just say both characters are very good. I still think that the Broly is better, all things considered, but both characters are going to be very, very good. That being said, we've got a new stage for the Dokkan event coming up for the Broly Dokkan event. Berserker of Destruction. So we are finally getting an update to this event. Actually, you know what? I can't say finally. The last time we had an update to this event was the Saiyan Saga, or not Saiyan Saga, Saiyan Day Int Broly a few years ago. But when I think of Berserker of Destruction, I think of like the original Dokkan event, which released well before my time. That was like one of the first major challenges for players when they started playing Dokkan. So all of these are obviously going to be dropping after the banner releases, which leads me into my next point. When does the banner release? They talk about that right here as soon as the character details are over.
Oh, for today's...
Okay, so let's... There you go. Starting from September 13th PST, so please wait a little bit more. Now, some of you might be wondering, why the heck did they release this video so soon? And why did they decide that it was important to move up the release date of this video presentation? I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is that they had these pieces of news already pre-scheduled, and they wanted to conform to that, and they originally made a mistake of releasing it a day later. Sounds like just the typical Dokkan goof. I mean, at this point, does that sort of stuff surprise you? It really shouldn't. Like, this is just commonplace for Dokkan to do nonsensical little things like this. Also, another way to easily gauge when a banner is dropping is by looking at the discounts on the previous part. In part 1, since we are currently in the middle of part 1, I am recording this video on the 10th of September in the afternoon. Now, normally when a banner releases, it is nighttime for me where I live. Considering that these discounts are going to be going away in basically 72 hours, which constitutes 3 days almost to the dot, these discounts would be going away for me in the afternoon, which is not when a banner would release. So after these discounts go away, we would then probably have another 8 hours-ish. So that is why September 13th PST really means September 13th, 10 p.m. PDT, 11 p.m. PDT. So 3 hours plus 8 hours. So I would say more like 80 hours from me recording this video. That is when the characters are going to be coming out. Some of you might not even be able to summon because you might not have enough stones to go for the characters. But regardless, once the characters drop, I will be going live. That should be your giveaway that we are going to be summoning for the new characters. So yeah, there you go. Look at your in-game countdown. That'll tell you exactly when the banners, not exactly, but roughly when the banners are going to be dropping. Okay, so we've covered the in-game news. We've got the banner release. So now, oh yeah, so at the end of the video, they also talked about the top grossing situation. Once again, they're just reiterating what they discussed in a recent top grossing announcement. 50 Dragonstones will be gifted when international version takes the first place in rankings on the App Store in 3 or more regions. All in all, this is a better system than what it was before, which was 7 stones per region, because in order for us to break even at this 50 point, we would have to be getting 7 to 8 regions top grossing under normal circumstances. Recently, we've seen that they have been willing to fudge the numbers a little bit to give the illusion of more success. But instead of all of that, if they just give us a straight 50 for 3 regions, which would normally pay out 21, I will take it. That is a free multi given to us for 3 regions or more hitting top grossing. Yeah, it does obviously put a cap, a ceiling on how much we could get. But I think more often than not, this is going to help us rather than hurt us. So let me know what you guys think about this. I think that this is totally fine. Also, they say down here, results are tallied separately for international and JP. The number of regions for Google Play and the Android App Store, or the Apple App Store, are tallied separately. So maybe there could be situations where we still get a little bit more. But that is the only other piece of news that we got in this Dokkan now. No, not even. Worldwide campaign announcement video. They also didn't announce another video. So this really is just going to be the only video that they give us. So sure. Okay. Now let's talk about the new summonable character, Videl. I've got all the animations here. I don't know if we're gonna watch all of this again, just because we already saw. Maybe we will. I think we'll just play it all again. I'm gonna play it in the Japanese version though. That's what I'll do, because in my reaction video, I watched it in dub, so now we'll watch it in sub. So I think that's what we'll do. So let me go ahead and pause the music here. Let's check out Videl's animation. Videl looks great. The resolution of these newer characters, the line art, everything is just incredible. So this attack is called Moon Somersault something, and it's a pretty basic attack, but whatever. Actually, even if this is a basic attack, you still get the full like animation frame by frame motion here. It's not the usual just zoom in, zoom out quick effect that you get on these like free-to-play characters. The budget for the animations definitely went up across the board, which I'm very happy about. Okay, so now let's go over what the Videl can do. So this unit is a Dragon Ball Seekers Earthbred Fighters 130% lead. For the super attack, raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage, greatly lowers attack, and high chance to further greatly lower attack. Now, this is one thing that I was initially not on board with. I was kind of irritated by this new roulette sort of ability in the super attacks. You're also going to see this in the new summonable characters. But after I thought about it, you know, it's when you are expecting an attack to nerf, sometimes it nerfs twice as effective. That's really all it is. You're still going to be operating under the assumption that it only does it once. Occasionally, you will be benefited with the stroke of good luck, where you nerfed even more. So I see it as it's a positive. It doesn't really affect me in the end. It doesn't affect my normal day-to-day gameplay. It's just something that we will keep in the back of our mind. It's nothing that I'm ever going to bank on, so it really doesn't bother me. But when you raise attack and when you raise defense and you lower enemy attack, that's sort of like a pseudo damage reduction effect. So this is still a good ability. And of course, when you get this twice, that's going to be even better. Greatly lowering attack. How much is that percentage-wise? The first unit that popped into my mind is Pycon. So greatly lowering attack means 30%. Occasionally, it could happen twice. So there you go. Okay, for the passive now. Attack and defense plus 200%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 200% when performing a super. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type tech excluded into tech. This is a tech character, if you couldn't tell. And you can farm up her super attack. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type tech excluded into tech. Medium chance to dodge. Dragon Ball Seekers or Earthbred Fighters key plus 2 attack and defense plus 40%. Plus an additional key plus 2 when the character is in slot 2 or the second to obtain key spheres in a turn. And an additional attack and defense plus 20% when the character is in slot 3. So that's an interesting new mechanic here. Reduces damage received by 20% with each attack performed as the second attacker in a turn. Chance to dodge plus 20% up to 40 as the third attacker in a turn. So if you're going to keep her around, she will be tankier. If you're going to float her off, she will be dodgier. That is ultimately what this character is going to do, with some pretty impressive base stats, but that's more than likely because the links are generally not going to be as effective. It's Videl. Infighter. Cold Judgment will be useful because the new Gohan, I believe, has Cold Judgment, right? I think the Super Saiyan Gohan teen has that. Battlefield Diva, Champion Strength, Money, Money, Money. At least 4 of these links are probably not going to see much action. So that is the banner unit Videl. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this unit on a scale of 1 to 10. Now let's jump into the new summonable characters. I would take a look at the Dokkan graphics like this, but the text is so ridiculously small that I think it's much easier to just go through it this way. So let's start by watching the JP animations for the new Broly, and then we will take it from there. So let me go ahead and pause the music. Let's check this out. If you want to watch the dub, then check out my reaction video. All right, so there you go. That is the Broly animation suite right there. So let's take a look at what this unit can do. This unit leads Uncontrollable Power, Revenge, Planetary Destruction 170%, plus an additional stats plus 30 to Movie Bounce, Transformation Boost, or Pure Saiyans. Now, I think that this is an overall a decent leader skill set. The first three, I'm sure some people are going to be a little bit put off by, especially because of Revenge. But when you consider what this character is meant to be doing, which is primarily leading extreme class characters, well, not primarily, but also leading extreme class characters, considering that Revenge doesn't have a true decent leader skill, I think that this was a good addition to the category. Planetary Destruction and Uncontrollable Power are ripe with extremely powerful villain characters. So I think that overall, this is a good leader skill. I'm not too bothered by this. Also, if you have been investing in the Brolys recently, then you've probably already got a decent leader skill coverage with this guy and with the movie boss leader skill. So Broly fans are eating good right now. So yeah, I don't particularly mind this. There's a lot of strong units. There are some super characters in here if you really want to run them. But overall, Planetary Destruction and Uncontrollable Power are mostly bad guys. Okay. Now let's move on to the super attack. So for the super attack, massively raises attack for 1 turn, massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn. That's the 12 key, with a high chance of further raising defense for 1 turn. So massively raising stats for 1 turn is 100%. You are raising your stats by 100%. You have a 50% chance of raising the defense by another 100%. This is not something that you are necessarily going to be banking on, but occasionally it could happen and it could make a huge difference. Cause colossal damage with a high chance to stun. So again, this was the one thing that I wasn't too fond of in the unit's abilities, but now that I've had some time to think about it, it's really just something that's going to happen without me thinking, and occasionally I will be surprised by it. But that is kind of neat when you consider that this guy is already going to be an absolute tank. Giving him more defense is just mean. It's just mean. Massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn, with a high chance of further massively raising attack. Oh, this is, by the way, a regular defense boost. I should mention that. This is massively raising attack. So this is 100% attack more. This is a standard defense boost. So it is definitely not 100%. It's a little bit less than that. So we can dial it back just a little bit here. But for the Ultra Super, possibly 50% chance for another 100% extra attack. That you will notice. You will feel the difference. You will see the difference. Cause mega colossal damage with a great chance to stun. So yeah, this guy's gonna be putting up some numbers basically. Now for the passive, which, by the way, this has got to be the crazy. You know what? Actually, I have to see. What did Dokkan do with this graphic? Bro, look at this. Look at that. Were you really gonna read it through this? No. That's why we're gonna read it through this one. So buckle in. Here we go. Activates entrance automation. All right, that's your 2L for the day. Activates entrance animation upon the character's entry once only, and extreme class allies defense plus 40% for 4 turns from the character's entry turn. Attack and defense plus 260% and reduces damage received by 60%. I'll just say from the start of this, this is an int legendary Super Saiyan Broly. This passive, how difficult was it to give Broly the int TUR legendary Super Saiyan Broly this passive? How difficult was it to do that? They basically just released that EZA and then made that EZA obsolete. Of course, I'm still going to use the character. And for those of you who don't have this character, that will kind of be your proxy. But it's still insane that 10 minutes after that unit's EZA drops, he is replaced. Such is the fate of Broly, I guess. There are so many good Brolys, man. There's too much Broly. All right, attack and defense plus 260 reduces damage to 60%. Plus an additional attack plus 100% when attacking. So even more attack boosting when attacking. Plus an additional key plus 2 and recovers 2% health per type key sphere obtained. So on top of everything else you're about to be reading here, you're also getting regen upon orb pickup, which is crazy. While the domain Molten Lava of Natade Village is active, randomly change key spheres of a certain type, int and STR excluded into STR orbs at the start of the character's attacking turn and guards all attacks. So while the domain is active, you have guard. Attacks effective against all types for the rest of the battle when the character performs an attack while the domain is active. So during those 3 turns that the domain is active, you will gain the ability to have attacks effective against all types for the rest of the way. Let's, by the way, quickly go over what the domain can do. The domain can be activated when there's a Goku's family category enemy or when all allies attacking in the same turn are uncontrollable power category characters. once only. Massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, creates the domain for 3 turns. So now let's go back and read the rest of this. Now, before I continue, some of you guys pointed out on stream that this orb changing situation might end up inadvertently helping out a potential STR Super EZA should it happen at some point during this celebration. Maybe the TUR Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, if it were to receive a Super EZA, might benefit from this. Or perhaps the LR Legendary Super Saiyan Broly could receive that Super EZA, and that could also benefit from this STR orb changing mechanic right here. So moving on past the domain, starting from the 5th turn from the character's entry turn, revives with 60% health recovered when the character or an ally attacking in the same turn is KO'd. So that's insanely good because it doesn't just have to be you that gets killed, it has to be anyone. So if you throw on, like, you know, Turles with this decent damage reduction, it might not be enough on certain events. This guy will cover you. Plus an additional defense plus 60% when receiving an attack after the character or an ally's revival skill is activated. Very generous. It doesn't have to be him that revives. If you do manage to get this guy's particular revive, changes physical key spheres to int and uncontrollable power category allies, attack and defense plus 60% at the start of the character's attacking turn, starting from the turn in which the character's revival skill is activated. So this guy is a tank. This guy can support. This guy can revive. This guy has regen. Is that enough? This guy does a whole lot of things, which is why I think that this character is the superior one of the two. This guy does a little bit of everything. They even say in the video that he is a jack of all trades. This character is fantastic. Absolutely incredible. There's one more thing I wanted to point out with this. Oh yeah, the last thing was the domain. So a concern of some people might be if this domain could overlap with the Broly, the AGL Broly. Keep in mind that the AGL Broly's domain doesn't kick in until the 5th turn from the character's entry turn. It's not from the start of battle, it's from the character's entry turn. So if this guy is unlucky enough to show up in slot 7, meaning turn 3, it's not going to be happening until turn 8. It's going to be a little while. So there is going to be a minimal chance of crossover. The two domains don't have to overlap with one another. There will be certain situations where perhaps they do, but in general, this is a safe distance away from what this ability is going to be doing for you. So yeah, the Brolys, if you have Brolys, you're basically just winning everything. It's like the rumbling. You're just bringing a bunch of giant muscle meat-headed Brolys. For crying out loud, his attack is like earth-shattering arm crusher or something stupid, right? No, Savage Blaster, Gigantic Driver. One of them is like earth-crushing arm. Where is that? Is it the passive? Undying Evil? Earth-crushing arm. Look at that, man. It's the rumbling. That's what it is. Atakai. All right, so that's it for the Broly. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How do you rate this character on a scale of 1 to 10? I think this unit is insane. One person brought up something, which I guess is an interesting point. So let me know what you guys think about this. This character essentially does what the Tech LR Broly does, but in different ways you could argue is better. In different ways you could argue is inferior. Could you say that maybe this character is a lackluster Part 2 character because of how similar it is to Part 1? I suppose you could. The way that I see this, to those of you who might potentially think that way, who might feel like, this is kind of bland, this is kind of repetitive. Right now, Extreme Class is down bad. And I will take any and all opportunities to boost up Extreme Class however I can with these broken characters. Even if it seems very similar, I'll take it. Because right now, we need to create a culture change in the Extreme Class rather than diversifying what the characters can do. Give me a solid 2 or 3 good Extreme Class teams, then we can start to look into, all right, let's get some more differently functioning characters and whatnot. I don't care about that. So for me, this is totally fine. A bunch of meatheads doing indestructible things, totally fine. So that's it for the Broly. Now let's take a look at the Gohan. So let's play the Gohan animations in the JP version. Again, I watched the dub in the reaction, so go check that out if you want to see it. Let's watch this now. Love that shot. God, that looks so good. Hold on. 2 things. 1, Pretty sure that's a Budokai Tenkaichi thing. Also, really? Really? Was he not traumatized enough from that incident with Piccolo? Does he really have to do the same move? Man, I hate the internet sometimes. This meme has ruined this family Kamehameha shot for me. This is all I could think of when I was watching that. All right, anyway, so yeah, the animations are absolutely pristine. I love what they did with that family Kamehameha shot. Looks so good. Rest in peace, Tech Gobros, I guess. To be fair, that unit does have still a place, but obviously this is gonna be the main go-to for the family Kamehameha stuff. All right, so now let's take a look at the Gohan's abilities. So let's pull up his leader skill, starting with this Kamehameha 200%. So, GG. Game over. We win. Kamehameha 200%. That's crazy. That's insane. Now for the super attacks. Greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn. Causes colossal damage with a high chance to stun the enemy. Greatly raises attack. Greatly raises attack and defense. Greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, causes mega colossal damage to the enemy, raises super class allies defense by 50% for 1 turn. That is the ultra super. Now going into the passive, you will be refreshed to learn that this is not nearly as dense as the last one. So this guy is a key +5 attack and defense plus 200%, plus an additional key +2 attack plus 40% up to 200, defense plus 30% up to 150 with each attack performed. So this is basically the Gobros ability, but better because the stat growth is much higher. On top of that, plus an additional attack plus 77% within the same turn with each super attack performed. On a good day, you could be launching up to 4 super attacks within the turn if your hit potential is built for it and all your passive abilities all function. They even point that out in the video. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when key is 18 or more. When key is 24, plus an additional attack plus 50%, very much a Gobros thing, and launches an additional super attack. And if HP is 77% or more, attacks are effective against all types. That's your pseudo critical effect. When there is another Kamehameha or Earthbred Fighters category ally attacking in the same turn, plus an additional key +2 and guards all attacks. And if HP is 77% or less, when receiving an attack, high chance of evading enemies' attack. So yeah, this unit is very much offensively gifted. My one concern when I first looked at this was key. When you think about it, if you're assuming you're running double key 3 led teams, that's key 6. 6 plus 5, 11. 11 plus 12, 13. 13 plus 2 right here is 15. So in order to get the minimum key 18, you just need 3 orbs to pick up. In order to get the key 24, you would need 9 orbs, which means maybe not guaranteed every single time you get the 24 key, but when you consider support characters, when you consider orb changers on the team, this is an STR unit, by the way, or when you consider links, which, by the way, he doesn't have too many of that boost up your... Oh, wait, do I have the character here? I don't. I'm pretty sure he only has like 2 links that give you key. Let me pull it up. I'm pretty sure it's very basic stuff. It's like key 1 for All in the Family. Is that what it was? Movie heroes. Man, where'd the leader skill go? He should be up there. Physical Gohan. Man, I don't want to have to pause. Don't make me pause. There it is. Okay. This is the same exact guy. He is Super Saiyan Gohan Teen. Same exact guy. So the links should be the same. All in the Family. No, not All in the Family. It was Saiyan Lineage. Saiyan Lineage gives you key +2. And then Golden Warrior gives you key +1. So Assuming those two are activated as well, that's 18 keys still. There could be situations where you might be a little bit shafted with the orbs, but in general, this should not be that difficult to pull off. But yeah, you're going to be getting a ton of attack power. This is going to be a strong, hard-hitting unit with some defense here. You got guard, you got dodge, you have certain ways out. Now for the new mechanic, which is not really a new mechanic, it's just kind of a different way to execute the finisher. But here's the standby. Can be activated when HP is 77% or less, or starting from the third turn from the character's entry turn. So if this guy shows up slot 7, that means turn 3 he shows up for the first time, which means turn 6 you can use the standby. Stands by for 5 turns, during which 7 Dragon Balls appear. Charge count increases by 1 per key sphere obtained by allies, and by an additional 4 per Dragon Ball obtained by allies. Now, in the demo that they showed, the Dragon Ball coloring, or the orb color, doesn't change. It's still the usual Dragon Ball, or it's still the usual orbs, but then the Dragon Ball is embedded in there. So let's show that. That's this right here. So that's what happens. I originally thought that they might make it a rainbow key sphere, but that might be a little too busted, because rainbow key sphere Dragon Ball orbs can then be combined, and it makes it a much more easy way to pick up orbs. That might be a little too good. And when you see what the standby finishers can do, that might be a little much. So yeah, I don't blame them for not doing that. So now let's take a look at the standby mode. Standby mode's passive, unable to attack when finished, except when finished effect is activated. Attack plus 77% per superclass ally attacking in the same turn, and if all allies attacking in the same turn are superclass, reduce damage received by 77%. So lesson learned, just bring good guys on a team with the Gohan. Defense plus 50% when receiving an attack per key sphere obtained. So this is different from the Super Saiyan Trio in part 1, where it's based on how much ki you have. This one is very much based on how many orbs you pick up. Guards all attacks, plus an additional attack plus 258% when finish effect is activated. And now, depending on the various conditions, you will either get Gohan's solo Kamehameha versus Broly, you will get Gohan and Goten's Kamehameha versus Broly, or you will get this one if you get the maximum conditions possible. So for the various attack finishers now, when your charge count is 34 or less, raise attack by 15% temporarily per charge count and cause ultimate damage to the enemy. Or the Goten finisher, when your charge count is 35 or more, with 6 or fewer Dragon Balls obtained. That is an important distinction here, because if you have 35 charge count or more with less than this, you're not getting the final finisher. Raise attack by 15% temporarily per charge count and cause super ultimate damage, so the multiplier has been changed. And then for the Vin Diesel Kamehameha, we have to get a charge count of 35 or more with all 7 Dragon Balls obtained. So within 5 turns, that's going to be doable. Raise attack by 20% temporarily per charge count, cause super ultimate damage to the enemy, and attacks effective against all types. So there you go. That is the full breakdown for the Gohan and the Broly. Both units are very good. I think in terms of function, the Broly is better. In terms of flair, the Gobros is definitely the more compelling unit. The animations are much more beautiful to watch, and the overall just journey to get to this point is going to be a whole lot more fun. So yeah, both characters are good. Both characters are going to be a lot of fun. So look out for those showcases when they drop, but it's still going to be a couple of days. So in the meantime, we got plenty of content going on part 2 right now. We have the new Ultimate Clash, which I heard is absolutely horrendous. When I say horrendous, I mean difficult. So we'll have to jump in and see that. But we've got the new stage of the Broly Challenge event. We've also got the story event to pick up the Trunks. Trunks is really good, people. Really good. Free-to-play Videl's EZA is also there. She's pretty good too. So a lot of stuff to keep you engaged in the meantime. And also a good opportunity to get some stones if you can before the part 2 summons, if you are going to be summoning. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and overall feelings about these 2 characters, also including the Videl. So I guess all 3 characters. Which one are you most looking forward to? Which animation set is the best? Which unit ability set is the best? And what are your thoughts on the leader skill for Broly? Is it good? Is it bad? And let me know if there's anything else that I missed in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you, the YouTube, when I see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned, and I was to Dokkan responsibly.